Good morning, Stocktwits crew. Happy Friday, y'all. Oh, it's been a week. And look at this, we're joined with a little bit of a crew this morning. Shout out Shay. It's a little reminiscent from the old show. Those that have been on the Stocktwits show for a while, you guys know that me and Shay kind of were on the morning show every morning together. So nice to have you back, brother. I'm curious, market's been a fun week. We got a lot going on. Shay, I want to start it off with you. I'm curious just how you're feeling right now. I know market's frothy. We were talking on the backstage a little bit, and obviously things are doing really good at all-time highs. And I know you've been killing it. So I'd love to hear just kind of a little bit of a deep dive on your approach to the market right now, and just how things are feeling going into the Friday.
Yeah, so I think the market is absolutely overextended. We have there's a risk on appetite, and we're setting ourselves up into a perfect storm in a way, because whether or not Powell will admit it, we're going to cut rates this year. We're going into a rate cutting cycle, and I think the market is front running that, knowing that that is inevitable. That's part A. Part B is AI is clearly the main event still, and it's showing in the fundamentals, showing the deal flow. So when you have a super cycle like AI that, in my opinion, is just getting started, is providing a high floor in any kind of market pullback, because they know how disruptive this theme will be in society that's only dipping its toes in. That combined with a fiscal tailwind like rate cuts, it's kind of combining this like launching pad in the summer months, where historically it's also lighter volume, it's trend setting. And back in May, or I think it was in May, once we V-shaped and recovered above the 200-day moving average, like, all right, if we maintain this level, I think we're going to be trending up to the right into the summer months. Then maybe the pain trade starts happening in August, because people want to like start selling their gains ahead of the really weak September months. But I think that now, some of these names are so freaking extended.
We've been watching them. PLTR, Rocket Lab, ASTS, Hood.
Yeah,
all these names are just in the same spot, ripping. I love it. Yeah, it's great.
No, it's great to see. Rocket Lab's 25 billion, AST is 20 billion now market cap. Like Palantir is 350 billion dollars. A lot of these disruptors, it's tricky to say like if they're overvalued or not, because me specifically, I believe the AI demand will be infinite. I also believe the space demand will be infinite. What do I mean by that? It's not going to just be like a lump sum of revenue, then all of a sudden consolidate and stop. It's going to be constantly innovating, evolving to something else, because I really do believe AI is going to be transforming everyone's lives and just continue to compound. And when you have a disruptor like Palantir, who like you see all these like valuations for these LLMs. You just saw Anthropic hit 100 bill. You saw Perplexity hit 20 bill. XAI 200. ChatGPT OpenAI is like 350 bill. The only way to make these LLMs actually affect real world decisions is through Palantir. That's the decision engine of LLMs. So if you see these valuations of these LLMs, you're going to see like the Palantir, who's kind of placed on top of all these LLMs, match that valuation. That's why they're 350 bill if OpenAI is 350 bill. Like, it kind of makes sense in a way, but it's still so crazy to see that valuation. And I think that earnings season is a sobering time. So when you see, like, it's really important to zoom out to the left. Netflix. What happened in Netflix? Yes, Netflix had a really great print. Like, I think it was a really strong print. Look at their price action this morning. It's down 2%. Why is that? Because at these levels, the expectations weren't just high, they were priced for perfection. When the company is trading at 60 times earnings entering the prints, even the most optimistic expectations are going to be below the current levels. So right now, Netflix is no longer being valued as this like turnaround story on the narrative change that they actually have a moat because of the king of streaming, or they're a growth stock trying to find its footing. It's being treated as a mature, global scale content platform with mature margins and the revenues diversifying, but that means that the market is less tolerant of any signs of deceleration, and the revenue wasn't a massive beat to justify the current valuation. Yes, they've had margin expansion opportunity, and their ad dollars are supposed to double this year, but we're not seeing we're seeing some top line saturation, and I'm like, market's like 60 times earnings, like it wasn't enough to really catch a bid.
That's some great thoughts, Shy. That was a great rundown. Michael Mouse. It was a thirsty Thursday yesterday. It seems like that's what I call a thirsty Thursday. It's a great day. I'm curious on, overall week was pretty solid. I know you always killing it with your systematic approaches, and I know I'm trying to tell you with a lot of similar approaches. But take me through the week. How was the week for trading? And then yesterday I think was really good. I imagine you did very well. So I would love to hear about any thoughts you have about approaching the market here at all-time highs.
Yeah, most systems are still net long. What I'm shocked about is that if you look at the commitment of trader data for the ES, they're still short. The net short positioning on both the ES and crypto is fascinating to me. So the idea is, I'll grab these screens here, right? So for those who don't know, you have to report in the futures market whether you're long or short and what it is that you're looking at. And what we're looking at here is just this green line right here. And this green line is the amount of speculators that are both long or short. And what's interesting is that you've seen the blue line, which is our retail guys. They've been buying this whole time. They bought the dip. There's a lot of studies about that retail put a lot of money in during the tariff tantrum, whatever we're calling it, aggressively. The green line here is your institutional traders, and they have gotten this so insanely wrong that not only are they short, they're continuing to short, and they're shorting into highs. So all of this updates on the weekend, so we'll see what happened this weekend. But to me, it's feeling like, and I totally agree with Shay there, that things are getting a little bit overdone, and I think this is the reason why. I think shorts are just getting blown out, which is great for short-term moves. It might not be as good for long-term moves because you get these parabolic spikes, and sometimes they retrace. But we're seeing that not only here, we're also seeing it in the crypto space as well. So if we go to Bitcoin, it's the same thing where we're seeing a new high break, and we're seeing positioning that is short. That's also the dollar we can take a look at. But yeah, Bitcoin, we are seeing that they are still short. So that again, this line, it's funny. The blue line again is your small guys. They're always long Bitcoin, regardless of what happens from the future side of things. The small speculators always long Bitcoin, and we are not only short, we are the most short we've been in Bitcoin for years as it's hitting new all-time highs. And again, these guys are pretty wrong all the time. So between that and them also being very short the dollar, that's what I think is going on a lot in this market. Is you're just being able to easily see that there's the big traders out there are just getting kind of completely blown out, and I for one am okay with that. Generally speaking, these unwinds can take just a number of weeks to maybe a month or so things could get even more extended from here.
Well, I think he's describing perfectly what the pain trade is. Like, that's
Yeah.
what's happening in this pain trade, and I think that again, like we have a lot of breakouts right now. It's like combining with the technical breakouts. A lot of companies that in the growth space were consolidating in a stage 2 base for years, and now they're breaking out and they're catching bids. But I do believe like as those breakups happen and those momentum price explodes, confirmation that everyone was waiting for and everyone feels like money's easy. That's not where the real trade lives. For me, I do think the edge is forced in the quiet, if you want to say it that way, and stretch. It's usually in time when nobody talks about it, they feel uncomfortable. There's a drift. There's a grind. But right now, like I'm not chasing. I think breakouts can work, sure, but they rarely come clean, and that's the issue. More often, they come with noise and some kind of rug pull on some black swan event that triggers a sell-off that causes volatility. So I think that right now, it's purely a pain trade on liquidity that was offsides, and now liquidity is kind of unwinding. I mean, shorts are unwinding right now. There is going to be liquidity coming in the markets, but like ARK K is a perfect example of like what's happening. They're breaking out, especially if you go on like the weekly chart. Like it is that base it's been on, it's finally breaking. Like there was a lot of head fakes along the way, and this is like a very bullish chart. Like right now, it wants to. It's going to break. There's a magnet at $100, but it's in not in discovery mode, but this is looking like it's probably going to test the 2022 bottom right there. Not 22 bottom, sorry. Whatever the $100 price range is, yeah, right there,
Yeah.
exactly. And look at that $100 magnet. So I think like we're kind of breaking out. Shorts are getting squeezed, and that setup I called out earlier, where we have multiple tailwinds. You have to ask yourself, what's the variable that the market hasn't priced in that might buck this trend? Earnings might be the reason, but I don't know. Summer months are weird things happen in summer months. I should say that.
Well,
I
and I think probably rotation is the next thing that we really need to look at,
Yep.
right? So take a look at things like the IWM, starting to move here as well, but hasn't anywhere near even this prior cycle high, and still nowhere near this kind of all-time fake out high. So I think we need to see that, and for that, we know the IWM is a lot of biotechs, right, which are just kind of breaking the anchored VWAP from this major high. So this is just a sentiment indicator. The average price from this high nowhere even close to prior cycle highs on biotechs, and then also regional banks, right? That's the other part of the small cap. And both of these are very interest rate sensitive. So we need to look to see what is going to happen with rates. I think that's the next giant event that everyone's looking for. And I agree with Shay that they're going to cut at some point. The question is it exactly where the market is pricing in right now? If not, that could be the thing that we look for next.
I also think that the 30-year yield hitting 5% is the reason why IWM is like kind of lagging a bit. I think when that happened 2 days ago, IWM was like red over 1%. Everything else is green. I think the Fed should have cut rates already. I think it's becoming a lot more political than it needs to be. I think the market's a little aggressive on how many cuts we're actually going to get this year. I really do believe so. And that might be the catalyst that's going to buck this trend potentially. I think the market's pricing like 6 cuts next year.
Yeah,
that's
no chance.
Crazy to me.
No chance, bro.
So
it's ridiculous. Maybe 2 or 3. Yeah, some interesting stuff there. Just to kind of recap some of the earnings we had as well. I know Netflix reported, you touched on that a little bit, Shy. Revenue up 16%, net profit up 46%, Q2 operating margin at 34%. The ad revenue is expected to double this year. The problem full year margin focus came in below Wall Street hopes at 29.5% versus the expected at 29.7%. Stocktwits sentiment still extremely bullish, so love to see that. That was 6 straight quarters of double-digit revenue, but the stock might cool off in the short term. Yeah,
60 times earnings, like that's freaking nuts for a mature company, guys. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I still think Costco is kind of nuts. Their earnings multiple as well. But like, you have to ask yourself, what's left to prove for Netflix to have a margin expansion opportunity for that 60 times earnings to be justified? I get it. This is coming from a Palantir bull who's like owns the stock top position when it's like 115 times sales. Okay, caveat maybe, but I think Palantir might grow 45-50% sometime next year or two. Like that's how disruptive AI will be. Netflix, what's the next growth lever? I still think they need to capitalize more on gaming. Like I agree, and I think sports is really helping them as well in the recent months. But like, I just don't know. Like you're seeing competition kind of heat up. You're seeing Disney start bundling ESPN. You're seeing Prime tightening its ecosystem grip. Like, and even Max, like HBO Max, is kind of pushing into the sports window as well. So like, I
Well, we
still
saw
think,
Peacock too, Shy. I don't know if
yeah,
you saw that. Like, I didn't know this. I learned this yesterday that like Peacock was, like WWE was one of the first sign-ons to Peacock like exclusively. Doing things like that is, I feel like, very smart in that area because, I mean, Netflix, Peacock, HBO Max, people are just gonna pay for whatever's the cheapest and best, right? Like, they're not gonna be married to one of those companies, in my opinion, right? So I'm with you. Like, what is next for Netflix?
well,
I don't see it.
well, I also think it's kind of crazy that Netflix prints more cash than what Paramount's market cap is. That's how crazy the world is like turning into now. Where like Paramount's like they're the gold standard in entertainment. Like everyone who wants to work in entertainment, Paramount's their goal. That's their North Star. That's quality. And that's also this love history and IP that they own. Netflix prints more than what their market cap is every year. That just shows how disruptive streaming was, but also why you kind of need to evolve as an investor to see where things are heading, not where things have been. And I just think that's one fact that's just nuts whenever I think about Netflix. It's just a crazy evolution of that whole industry.
Yeah, agreed. Michael, did you have any other thoughts on Netflix?
On Netflix, listen, I'm more of the quant side of things, and I have to own the things that hit all time highs first, right? So I own a bunch from a little bit under 1,000. And then I'm just kind of using this as my line in the sand. It's relatively strong to everything else. We could break that today, but from a fundamental side, I agree it's overvalued, but it's kind of like we talked about that. It's all about time frame, right? If we are going to continue to get squeezed here, I think we could get more overvalued in the short run. But then it always comes back and reverts to what fair value is eventually. I just don't know what that's going to be. But earnings, again, this is one of those the option sellers win again, right?
Yep.
The expected move was way larger than what actually happened, so it seems like kind of a non-event. So up 2% yesterday, down 2% this morning. So right, pretty much right at yesterday's low. So it just needs more time to digest to see what really people care about the earnings. Was the call already done? I was just wondering, maybe it's one of those they're waiting for the call, or is that? Yeah, no, that was last night too. So yeah, I think it's all priced
Yeah,
in.
good question.
Well, also you have to think. So this was a safety blanket stock during the tariff wars. Like they weren't going to get affected really from all that tariff backlash. So now like it had a relative strength during that pullback. And this rally we've experienced in the market was purely multiple expansion across the board for everyone. So because they held up pretty strong during that pullback and running with the market through via multiple expansion, we're in very dangerous territory on like what's left for Netflix to prove to what's their next lever, like I just called out. And I think right now, like maybe if there's a new Black Swan event that hits the market like this, maybe is a good place to hide out potentially. But I'm not bearish. I'm not trying. I sound super bearish. From
You sound
Netflix,
super bearish.
but I just don't see any incentive on buying the stock for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough too because tariff dip, we didn't dip much on Netflix. I mean, percentage, I guess you could say yeah, but when you look
Actually,
at the
I don't think
chart,
so. The Qs went down 20%. Like I think
yeah,
Netflix being down like less than that maybe.
yeah, either
Yeah.
way, like even if it was a similar percentage, when I look at the chart, it's like we significantly held up way better on Netflix than SPY or QQQs, and so like just
Well,
like
and
you
it's
say, I mean,
it's
we've already held up and gone so far. Where else can we go? What's up, Michael?
it's when it gets through all-time highs, right? That's one of the things that I think from a
Yeah.
technical point of view, you got to look at, right? And not even all-time highs. Let's just say prior cycle highs. So we had that push after the election, and then everything fell apart. So a simple way, and this is just the quant side of me coming out, where if you want to measure relative strength, is at what time did we end up breaking that? Like one of my big holdings is defense, and you can see we broke that in May. That was all-time high breakouts in May, and this thing's just never looked back. So that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for, where I just want hack being another one, cybersecurity. We're still holding these all-time highs right here. just how quickly did it recover from? Because everything we know, when the market crashes, correlations become to one. There's no safe place to hide. You see it during 2000, 2008, 2020, and now the tariff tantrums. When the move is that violent, everything gets pulled down. But how fast does it recover? That shows us, okay, as soon as the panic subsides, where are people piling into first? Those are the areas that get me the most interesting. So again, defense and things like, and I think it was for the exact reason that Shay said, where it's going to be really hard to tariff software. So software did much better and is continuing to do a little bit better than hardware overall, at least for the short run.
Yeah, another big name we saw do some crazy stuff yesterday. Lucid, Uber, robotaxi surprise. They announced a $300 million investment in Lucid Neuro to launch a new self-driving fleet. What's
I
that?
completely forgot this company existed.
Me too. No, I saw that yesterday. I was like, oh shit! I used to trade that. I used to day trade Lucid when it was like $20. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting stuff there. Obviously, we saw Lucid pop 36.25% on the day. Exploded on the news. 20,000 cars equipped with neurotech will be deployed in a major American city. The deal marks another step in Uber's strategy to outsource automation rather than build its own. Curious, hey, Shy, I hear you laughing over there. What's the thought?
I mean, yesterday was like a zombie gang injected with cocaine. Like it's still dead. It's still dead, guys. Like maybe it's
still dead.
Got revived for a day. I don't know. Lucid, they always had the best tech, like battery tech. It's not as that. Being an OEM or like is not an easy calculus or for business economics. Like tech is just one part of that calculus. The rest is a lot of manufacturing, distribution, fleet management, all that jazz. Lucid has one part of that. So I think this is probably a short squeeze. Again, I wouldn't own this name long term. I think that Lucid is eventually just going to get acquired via UAE in the private markets because they won't be able to really last due to EVs not becoming the thing that everyone thought they were going to become. And I think the main component of that is hybrids are just as good for what society needs right now. And it's not because anything with the prolonging of the health of the world. It's mainly because people don't commute far distance anymore post-COVID. You don't need to really drive more than 60 miles. That's the difference between a hybrid and pure EV. That difference on what makes it worth it is if you commute more than 60 miles. A lot of people don't do that. So a hybrid is just good enough. Now combine that with the removal of tax credits that in the Trump presidency, like that might be the death nail for a lot of these companies. And for Lucid, that headline yesterday is not Lucid bullish. It's Uber bullish, like for the name Uber. So I think that Lucid maybe caught a bid, but really that's not the hidden gem from that headline. It's Uber just, again, partnering up with the world outside Tesla to make sure they maintain their permanent status in the future autonomy world. And I think that Lucid just was fortunate enough to let them use their fleets, combine that with, I forgot which company is lending their tech in that arrangement, but yeah, don't get confused by Lucid, guys.
That's Neurotech.
No, I've never even heard them before yesterday.
I haven't either. Couldn't tell you.
Well, yeah, and just to your point about the short squeeze, right? I just brought it up here. 33% short. So 1 in every 3 shares are short. So yeah, any amount of good news is going to cause some amount of squeeze, right? And I think it's just that. I think you're looking back at this in another month and it's right back to where it was, right? $2 or below.
Look how toppy 360 is. That's a double top over there when, I don't know when that time frame is, but like, we'll see if it passes there. If it does, maybe it gets to the September high of like 415, but I don't know.
Yeah, just when something is that heavily shorted, it just needs to be not horrible news, and it will just cause enough of a little of a pop to get people excited, suck in some retail, and away it goes. And I totally agree with the hybrid thing too. I just finished shopping I bought 2 cars in the last 2 weeks, and I was looking at the EVs. I got getting solar on the house and the whole 9 yards, and I was the same way. I'm just going to go hybrid. Right? I usually drive, drop the kids to school, come back, work from home. I don't need that amount of range, but then if I want to take it on a road trip, I don't need to worry about that whole range anxiety stuff, right? So I couldn't agree more there.
Yeah, it's a good move. Let's go through some of the big pops and drops we've seen
But
on
but
some
but
specific
while
names.
you're
What's
doing
up?
that, is
Yeah.
that the anchored average VWAP from the bottom of the Terra 4, that blue line?
Yeah.
Okay, so that
Yeah.
right
It's
there
perfect.
is everyone's go-to metric if you want to catch a bid on the winner's pullback if we get the next couple months. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of new buyers came into the market during that, whatever you want, that hissy fits between Trump and the world. Like, they came during that time slot. So like you see the lot of like behavior of the stocks since that bottom is perfectly accurate on any pullback. It's bounced off that level. So like I have a cheat sheet of all my winners that want more exposure or I don't even own based on that bottom. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing that people did during the COVID bottom. When you have
Yep.
a massive, massive event, which the Terra 4 was a massive event, VIX hit a 50 handle. It's massive. You always do an anchored out VWAP from that level. Always. It's a guarantee.
Fully agree. Using
Well,
that
and I
anchored
can,
VWAP is helpful.
right? So, right, I'm a systems trader. I'm a quant, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like to speculate about this stuff, but when it comes to my actual trades are all kind of robotic and systematic, and that is one of my favorite systems. That's why you see it drawn on a lot of my charts. Is just exactly what you described. You find a major bottom that hopefully has a lot of volume at it. You anchor a VWAP to that. It comes in a little bit later. Yeah, it's a great place. And the thing I love about it is that you know exactly where you're wrong. You know, a couple days close below this level, and I'm wrong. I'm out. It's not going to bounce here. But you see it all the time. A bounce, maybe a little bit of a bleed through, and then a nice trend continuation. It's just a, it ticks all the boxes for purely technical and quantitative trading. You're trading with the trend just naturally because it has to be above that VWAP for a long time and come back. So you're trading with some amount of short-term trend. Your risk reward is just insane on it because you're wrong very quickly if it doesn't bounce there, and then the amount that it can bounce is almost unlimited from that point. So yeah, couldn't that's a great
Well,
one, and it's a pretty easy one to scan for and to do the math behind. So
Mm-hmm.
no, I love it. And I honestly, I only use three levels. It's the COVID bottom, the yen carry trade crisis bottom, and the bottom we had in tariffs. Like, that's all you really need. Maybe I'm simplifying it too much. But let's just say, if you want, because I get this question all the time, Rock Lab, because Rock Lab is freaking on a tear. If you want to pull up Rock Lab's chart real quick to do the anchored out VWAP.
RKLB.
Yeah.
Yeah, RKLB.
Yeah.
So this is where it's like really scary. Like I did it on mine, but it's $29
Yeah.
is their
Yeah.
what's it trading at now? 51. This is just
Ooh.
anchored average VWAP from 2 months ago, 3 months ago. We're overextended. That's the perfect example of being overextended. We're 51, 29. Oh my God, it's double. I didn't realize it's 50% below
That's
their
rough.
price now.
That's rough.
So we're gonna get a pullback. Like, I'm so bullish on Rock Lab. I haven't sold one share. I'm okay being pulled back. I think we'll get a pullback, and that level where you want to add to, in my opinion, is that $29 from that anchor average VWAP since that massive run. And look, it held up great again. Look at that. It's funny how that works.
Well, and look too, since there's so much room in between, right? You could get a little nasty looking on this, but technically still be okay since you're over that VWAP, right? And that could definitely give the opportunity for us to maybe step in there. So something I'm watching because I've never gotten in Rocket Lab, Shy, even though I know
Every
you're
week
shaking
I
my head.
talk to you
I
about
know,
it.
I
Every
know,
week.
every week I never got into. I know, but something to watch for the people that haven't been in. Watch that VWAP whenever we come back down to there, right? Something
Yeah.
to keep an eye on. Yeah, but yeah, I sold the bag there. Shy absolutely set me up for some lifelong gains there, and I did not take it. So L's in the
Shout
chat for
out
me.
Brian Shannon. I think we
Yeah.
should give a friend to all of us. I think that
Yeah.
kind of brought this to the forefront. So a little shout out.
He was a creator of
Way-
anchor average VWAPs.
he popularized. Yeah, he's
Whoa,
been using it
that's
for
awesome.
Yeah, you can go on his YouTube channel. He's 20 years ago, and he's talking about drawing anchor VWAPs from major lows and highs,
So awesome.
and trading around them.
That's cool. Some other big pops and drops we had in the market. TSMC eyeing fresh highs after record Q2 profits fueled by AI chip demand. We had Unity rally on expectations of ad tech rebound. Pepsi's removing artificial colors from Lay's and Tostitos, apparently. We saw Coke, they're doing real sugar too, as well. So shout out to that. United Airlines missed quarter 2 revenue, but I think the stock rebound pretty good. Shy, some of these names I know you're always looking at Rivian as well. Do you have any thoughts on maybe ticker Unity, United Airlines, some of these names that are getting some big pops and drops?
Well, Unity is another one that we talked about a lot in our old show. It's one of those names. Again, I'm not trying to sound like a genius in Unity. I'm not. I'm actually an idiot because I've owned it for 3 years and I chose it above AppLovin and just look at AppLovin's chart. So I'm not. I was a schmuck in this, but I still believe Unity is going to be a major player in the gaming engine space. And as soon as they have the right captain to lead that ship, it was going to benefit from that duopoly they have in the gaming engine space via ads. What's happening this year? A lot of the notes on the sell side research is highlighting Vector, which is their AppLovin like competitor, competing product. That is picking up momentum. They've had you could not handle a company worse than they've done in 2023, 2024. But the new management a year, 18 months ago is actually turning the ship around, trimming the fat, prioritizing developers, something the previous management did not do. So I do believe that Unity right now is technically breaking. It's a great kind of like a correlation with ARC, but this is a name that can hit a 50 handle really quickly and
Hello,
not be
everyone.
expensive.
Morning,
Hey,
Leah.
Leah.
Hi, how are you? I missed you all.
Missed you. How we doing?
I'm good. I just arrived to San Francisco. I drove across the US for 9 days, so
Oh
I'm
gosh,
home.
that's no fun, but glad you're home.
That's
That's
crazy.
good stuff. It's been a crazy week, huh?
Yes, very good week.
Good. Yeah, I know. I imagine in this environment, you're probably doing a lot more option selling, which I know you're always taking advantage of. So I'm curious what kind of plays you had for this week. Any big plays you're looking at maybe for today, and then I'd love to hear if you been doing any option selling because I know we've had a few moments in the market where it's been really sideways and just slow, and I know you're always trying to capitalize on that. So
There
yeah, I would
was
love to hear
nothing
about it.
sideways and slow in my trading.
Good, good,
You
good.
know, I did not sell options because the VIX was really low. I don't really sell them that much when the VIX is in these levels. But this week was the quantum for us. We were trading quantum. I saw really big flows into, so for example, QBTS. Should I share screen with you?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go
Michael,
ahead.
you want to let her share? Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'll pop off there.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see the setups.
Got to monitor the bot anyway.
Hi.
I think I got
Shay's
like
here.
14
Hi.
trades
Hey.
on the open there. So
Okay, how do I do this? 1 second, guys. Okay, perfect. So let's do it. So this guys, I had allocated a QBTS. That was my breakout right here. The green line is always my entry.
Oh yeah,
That was on Tuesday.
things on a tear. Uh-oh.
The
Did Leah rug?
breakout.
There she is. We're good.
You guys see me?
Yeah. You
Okay.
just like cut out for a second. You're good though.
Hello?
Uh-oh.
That's
She might
weird.
We
be
hear ya.
technical difficulties. We got you.
uh-oh.
I don't think she can hear us though.
Hello?
Leah, you got us?
Can you guys hear? I don't know what's happening. I have really fast internet. I'm at home.
You're
That's
good.
weird.
Can you hear us?
That was my another trade that I had right here. So that was a QBTS and RQ were the two trades this week for me. And RGTY as well. Do you guys trade any of those?
I saw our GTI yesterday actually kicking off. I didn't trade it at all, but I saw it was getting going and getting some nice moves. So good stuff there. I
Yeah.
didn't know you were trading that. It's kind of just consolidating sideways right now going into the open. I'm curious, are you taking profits on this? Are you holding for
Yeah.
more? Because this looks like it could get more legs up, in my opinion.
You know, I take 50% off after this kind of move because RGTY was up almost 30%. So of course, in one day, that's my rule. I have to take half of the profits, and the rest I have
Frozo again.
here. And what else did I trade? That was it this week. These three stocks. I mean, it's
Captain Chill.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all you need when you're hitting those banger plays, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
the same
usually
way.
we see the flow, and I see what the institutions are doing through Bloomberg scanner that we built, and you just look at the technical chart, and then when those two align, then you go long or short. We see short side and long side as well. So shorting, I prefer with options. It's just the momentum is great there, but when I go long, I prefer, on this kind of stocks, I prefer equities. And the QBT, I actually added leaps for 2027 May. So I gave myself 2 years time.
Oh
on
wow,
those.
awesome.
Yeah.
Love that. I'm curious,
Yeah.
what's your take on the all-time highs right now? Because I know a lot of people, right, especially us intraday traders, will complain about the environment right now all the time. But I would argue that right now, these all-time highs trading compared to the past times we've been up here, I mean, we're pretty blessed, I would say, with the amount of volatility we still have, with the amount of moves we're still getting. It can be slow, it can have that melty feel to it, but I would say that we're having one of the best all-time high trading environments just based on the volatility that's still in the market, you know. It can still be tough, but I'm curious, do you have any thoughts on that? I'm wondering if you're trading a little bit less, because I started out trading a lot less, and then, I mean, this past week, it's completely unlike me. I've traded it every single day of the week, so I'm just curious on your thoughts there. I feel like it's been a lot better lately than the past.
I've taken 15 trades today, so I'm certainly not the. We've been open for 5 minutes, so I'm not.
Michael's
that,
taking
but-
15 trades.
Well,
That's
I
insane.
haven't taken any, but I'm.
Yeah,
the robots have.
You know, I'm with you. I've been indulging in that, Michael. I've actually got some bots set up with some other strategies, and I'm
good.
letting them do their thing for me. I was out in New York actually last week. I was walking around and I got an alert, and I checked my chart, and it caught a beautiful short for me while we're walking around. So shout out to you though. You were a little bit of an inspiration there for that, because I know you're always talking about automation and systemization, all that. So good
You'll
stuff.
never be the best button presser in the market.
Exactly.
Right? You
I'll
use
never
your
be the
brain
best.
for the analytics. Use the systems to actually hit the button. So good work, man.
Agreed.
And of course, if you ever need, questions or help or whatever, you know where you get me.
Oh yeah, for sure. Shy, are you ever indulging in any automation, that type of thing?
I have such major control issues that there's no world I could do that. I have
no way.
OCD. I have trust issues. Like, there's no way.
And you're all over the AI and the self-driving cars but you can't. No one can take.
Life's all about balance. Like, you got it. I'm analog in the digital world. No, but I don't trade that often. That's the thing. Like,
True,
I think I've
true.
made
Yeah.
like Michael's trades today in 5 minutes is how much I've made in the past 2 months. I think. Like, it's just ever since we've V-shape recovered, I've just like not added anything really. But I don't know. Like sometimes, like for example, if you pull up EOSE, EOS Energy, like this is one name that I think is going to be kind of become the next Rocket Lab type of move in like a couple years. I don't know who's sharing the screens right now, but if you type in the tick, it's up 25% today or 22%.
What's the ticker?
EOSE. Oh, it's now 17. But E as in EOSE. E as in Ernie. Yeah, I can
She
share.
might have froze.
Oh, she might
I
have
think
froze.
Leah's having some technical issues a little bit.
Well, here I can.
Let me see. It usually freezes on me when I share my screen. Hold on.
Here,
Michael's
I got,
the
it.
Michael's
got
the
it.
master at the screen sharing. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's EOS.
So yeah, EOSE. A lot of people aren't familiar with this name, and that needs to change because I think you just got yesterday's news. I think it was yesterday, or maybe even 2 days ago. The 94% tariff on batteries in China. This is America's battery. Like what EOSE is doing is not. They're not trying to participate in the lithium ion race, and that's primarily a lot in the China market. They're trying to commercialize zinc-based long duration energy storage. Again, this is like a really interesting play on the energy constraint issues that we're going to see in society, not just next couple of years, but potentially forever, with how much AI is evolving and how much demand there is for energy. We just don't have the capabilities and right now in order to fulfill that demand vacuum. So I do think that it's a perfect example is like their Z3 battery. I think it's like an 8 to 12 hour discharge, where lithium is 1 to 4 hours. So that puts them directly in line with like a lot of like what the U.S. utilities kind of need to start beginning to procure as we hit that grid constraint issue. And I think that it's a small cap company that has a major tailwind that makes sense with the theme of Trump's American AI. It's an American battery. It eliminates the risk of the geopolitical tension that even if we get in tariff agreements, I think the deglobalization that occurred a couple months ago is kind of permanent in a way where it will never be the same that it was before. There's going to be some kind of friction. This is a name where it's got the energy play, it's got this float play, it's got small cap, and it has a major tailwind that it doesn't have the revenue yet, but it has the deals in line that once it scales, it's going to pop off. It feels very much like the Rock Labs and ASTS of the world, and this is a name that I've been adding this year, and it's like it's breaking out. It looks like as it's getting a lot more attention, but I want to call that out since it's a big performer today.
Oh yeah, something to watch for sure. I want to keep my eye
Well,
on
we,
that.
we
Definitely.
talked about the anchored VWAP from the low here, and that's an interesting place on pullbacks. But I always like to look at, and this is another right. Shout out Brian Shannon and his book on this. You take the anchored VWAP from either a major high, or you take it from the IPO if the IPO is close enough, and you can see it was a problem here, it was a problem here, a problem here. Now we're well above that, and the reason I love that is because it's a really logical place to put an anchored VWAP. You're saying, okay, this is the beginning of the stock. If people were just buying dollar cost averaging into the stock from its birth, their price is like $4 right now, right? And you can see as it got through that, that's going to be a big sentiment shift because it means pretty much everyone, even, and I did it from the all-time high too, and we're up on that as well, means that pretty much everyone's making money as long as you didn't just buy it once at the all-time high and never touch it again. If you've been adding, you're up now.
I mean, there's a weird psychology behind it. It even works for me. I'm like, I think this stock's cheap. I don't really want to add until I'm in the red so I can get my dollar cost average to be better. That's kind of the psychology of a lot of these like levels where like I'm going to buy once it gets to the point where I originally bought. And that's like a lot of like why there's a high floor and a lot of these VWAPs are at high resistance, etc. So like I think there's a real psychology behind it that's actually very effective.
Yeah. No, you notice there's no other indicators on the chart. I'm not a big moving average guy. It's stochastic and MACD, blah blah. So they're just, they're fine. If you can build systems to do, and some of my systems have them in it. But I like when it comes to more discretionary analysis, things like this, where not only can you see that it worked, there's a reason that makes sense as a human being that it also works. You're not just seeing that two numbers make sense sometimes.
Again, this is coming from a fundamental guy. Like I don't get technical moving average, why it's so important. Like if it doesn't work for the 7-day, I'm gonna move it to the 8-day. If it doesn't work for the 8 days, I'm gonna move to the 9-day to fit my narrative.
Yeah.
Like that's how, in my eyes, like I'm like, oh, it's tomato, not really. Doesn't give me a signal in all this noise. Where VWAPs does. I think the 200-day moving average is very real. I think that stage 4 breakdown is very real. That's the one moving average like I actually respect a lot. Everything else, I don't know. I think it's just to fit a narrative. If you have a narrative, for example.
As
yeah, I mean, like you say,
I can, I agree with you, right? It's one of those things. The same with fundamental analysis. That I'm sure that if you look at a balance sheet, which I never look at, or an income statement, if you torture the data enough, you can have it tell you a great story. And
I love that phrase. I'm going to use that going forward if it's okay. Torturing the data. That's actually a really great phrase.
Good.
Well, and then
We
as
like
a
that.
quant, I have to worry about doing the same thing. I can build you a back test that looks amazing. You're going to be right 90% of the time. You're going to make so much money. But if I'm curve fitting that data, if I'm messing with that data too much, it doesn't make me any money. So who cares modeling? So I'd say the same with technical analysis. I am, again, I've been looking at charts for 20 years. I've been a CMT for 6 or 7. I look at trend, support resistance, anchored VWAP. That's the important stuff because that's the stuff that makes sense from a psychological standpoint, right? A stock will stop when it hits all-time highs and mess around there because there's a lot of people who are anchored emotionally to that price, right? And they bought at all-time highs and they see it at all-time highs. That's the same reason I think the 200-day moving average works. It's just because it's roughly 1 year of price data, and we know there's a lot of funds that use it, so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. But yeah, when it comes to the 8 versus the 9 versus the 20 versus the whatever, I think being a quant actually kind of black pills you on that, a lot of that stuff. You can test it. Like no one can come to me and say, hey, a MACD is the greatest thing in the world, because I've got data going back to 1950 on every stock that's
That
ever
show's
existed.
different. Yeah.
I'll test it for you, right? I'll know pretty quickly if you're telling the truth there, or if it's just something that you're seeing shapes and clouds.
So can we have a little fun thought experiment on
Let's
one
do it.
name that I think everyone's wanting to see where's the bottom, and it just keeps going red and red? Oscar Health. Let's pull up OSCR because I think $13 is a really good range for them. I've been waiting for that level. It looks like it's gonna hit there. I'm curious on like where. Ooh, it broke. It broke that sacred. That's interesting. I think this is a lot of like red tape bureaucracy headwinds that's causing the stock to go lower, but it is less than 1 time price to sales, and I think a lot of FUD is getting priced in the stock that maybe in a retail heavy environment right now like we're in. I just feel like a hard time not this won't catch a bid in the summer months.
I am looking. I'm just on like a weekly and a monthly chart. You look at this weekly range low. The actual low is sitting at 1120. Just below that, we have like another big imbalance that we've never had to trade back into, which I would expect us to trade back into, but I would also expect a bounce out of that. So I'm kind of looking for this 1120 shy to kind of break below that range low for a little bit, try and sweep it, reclaim it, and then maybe higher from there. But that's kind of like the first big spot I'm looking at. Of course,
Interesting.
you can hold that 1278 if it really wants to. I have potential for it to hold there, but I would really like to see those lows get swept and then continue higher.
Well, I'm looking at
after.
selling $13 puts. I'm trying to figure out the time. I feel like that's like maybe the move there because it is pretty juiced in the right IV last time I checked. Let me
Yeah.
see.
Well, and that's Leah's wheelhouse. If she's back with us from a tech point of view, I'm not a big options guy, but she's
Yeah, it's got 94% IV. That's crazy for a stock like this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were here with Leah, and she was selling puts here, and just even though it didn't bounce, it's just UNH stopped going down, and that's one of the main benefits of that style of trading is that you can just kind of, if you like the name, you'll end up getting it. Not that any of us here are Warren Buffett, but that's how he enters a lot of his positions as well, because if he gets his price, great. If not, he just made a bunch of money anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep, agreed.
Yeah,
What are the names we
UNH
got?
doesn't look good. What's happening?
There's
Maybe time to sell puts again soon on this one. UNH.
has been getting a dip. Yeah, just looking at the market, we're kind of choppy going into the morning, kind of slow. We actually pumped to those overnight highs, which is what I was looking for going into the new session, but looks like we had some news point or some data point come out that kind of just ripped us right into there, right in the market open. So I'm kind of just chilling. I don't know if I'm going to do anything. I've been doing extremely well on the trading side of things this past week and month. I haven't had a red day yet, which is a little scary because statistically,
why-
I'm
Run
did
and
you
knock on
say
wood,
that?
Jordan. I don't know
I
if there's
know.
wood in your room. Go knock
No, I got
on
wood
it.
right here. I got wood.
Why
But
did you say that, man?
statistically, I'm
By the
due.
way, the way you said that, you looked down, and I didn't see a desk.
Oh,
So
oh no, because statistically, I'm due, and it's like, I know at some point it's gonna happen. So I'm kind of taking things chill. Every trade I take, I'm like a little less sized, taking it slow, because I know at some point I'm gonna take a loss, and I don't wanna make it big. So
We have
We'll see how she
consumer
goes.
sentiment coming up, so right,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do discretionary. Again, I'm up to 22 trades now, but I don't know if I would do anything before that because that's a decent kind of size number here. And it's a Friday, and it's a Friday.
What,
during
isn't
summer,
today like a
right?
major day for like something with OPEX or something along those lines? I've read somewhere.
we had something, yeah, I forget, because we had what was it, quad witching recently, but this is
That
like,
was last month. Yeah, this month we just have OPEX.
it's just OPEX. Okay.
Regular OPEX monthly expiry today on the 18th. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that always makes things interesting. It's not necessarily. I've heard a lot of people, in the past are like, if we're on OPEX, I'm instantly taking the day off, which is valid. It might be like that today. It might be a little more choppy, but I always like to show up and see what the market has to offer. So we'll see if we get something. But I have
If
no
you have
problem
the-
not trading.
If you have the patience, I think that's important. If you have the
Yeah.
patience to sit and watch and not do anything, then go right ahead. I'll say after we're done here, I'm I monitor the bot off the open to make sure it doesn't do anything crazy, and then I'm gone. All the swing trades, I do those on Monday. So these are all just day trades now, right? My investments systems I do at the end of the month, so nothing to do there either. So Fridays are usually just pretty light for me, just because it's the way it goes, right?
Yeah, keep it light.
Yeah,
You taking
I'm
any
the
big
same.
moves, Leah? You looking to take any big moves
I
into
don't
today,
take
or keep
Friday.
it
I don't
chill?
take trades on Friday usually. I don't open trades
Smart.
because I don't day trade much. And as you said, like the option expiration, you have a lot of options expiring, which creates a lot of chop. It's always like that. And of course, the quarterly are a little bit more pronounced, but even on regular monthly expiry, it's already you can see the chop, and I don't day trade that, but I swing trade, and I usually don't open stuff into weekend unless I have really high conviction to hold over the weekend, which happens sometimes. But now I will just manage my trades that I have for the whole week. And yeah, Fridays I'm also like not very motivated. It's
Yeah,
the last day of the week.
I
So I
get you.
enjoy taking some gains so I can switch off at like 11 a.m. and be done for the week and relax. I mean, trading is pretty stressful. I love it, but we need some time off. So
I agree.
There's your Oscar shade. Shay, I
Oh,
just got
Oscar.
long.
what is
I
it doing?
just
I have, oh wow,
I
332.
just noticed because the bot I look down and I'm now long
How
a
long,
little bit of
Oscar?
this. So
Let's
It's
go.
probably going down to the trend
mean
line,
reversion
no?
strategy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
funny how all these
VWAP.
stocks start becoming very, very. There is one more stock I was going to show you guys. It's called Kind. They just did a huge redesign of the whole entire app. They have millions of
Next door,
users, I
this
think.
guy.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you guys see it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind. Yeah, so they just had huge launch 2 days ago. They redesigned the whole app. They have hundreds of millions of users, I think 40 million active users, and they added actually AI features into the search. So yeah, I've been talking about this one for a while. You can just study on it a little bit. There were they got a lot of press this week. So talking about things, turnaround companies, this could be one of them.
Yeah, average. Oh, it's a small guy. 700 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it seems like this is the time for this kind of stocks to run. When you look like many of those little companies, they are recovering since COVID. I would say since 21, right?
What's up, Shy?
No, I was just gonna say I thought some reason I thought Kind would be in the healthcare space, but I'm seeing it's next door holdings. It must be in a different industry, but I think it's really interesting the psychology behind retail now. All of a sudden, with Hims and Her Health and Oscar Health, the healthcare industry used to not give an F. Like retail used to not give an F about that industry. All of a sudden now they're looking to find rational players in an irrational industry of healthcare, wanting like something to change. So I think there's like something to go along with the psychology on retail of it has to be mission oriented now, these positions to really gain a following. Palantir was mission oriented, Rock Lab mission oriented, ASTS mission oriented. The list goes on. Hims and Her and Oscar, like it's mission oriented, but I think it's really important people realize healthcare doesn't care about what your sentiment is at retail. It's a red tape bureaucracy nightmare. And him,
Nightmare.
it's such a nightmare. So I think for Hims and Her Health, like I think what they're doing is very disruptive. Like I want to use the rhetoric, building the Netflix of healthcare marketplace. Like that's what they're essentially trying to do. But it's going to be freaking messy. And I think that the name has run up from 15 to 50 very quickly. I'm not saying it's going to pull back significantly, but it's when you're trying to disrupt a legacy industry like healthcare, there's going to be digestion phases. I feel like Hims and Her Health is in that digestion phase now. I don't know how long that's going to last, but it's really important to note because a lot of questions that I'm getting from people is why isn't Hims and Her catching a bid recently when every other growth retail stock is catching a bid? Look at the industry it's in, zoom out, see how much it's ran up, and now see what's left to prove for Hims and Her Health in the near term that the industry will allow it to. I just don't know about this one, especially when like GLP-1 is kind of getting phased out a bit, and they have this wonky year-over-year comparison, and that just takes some time to digest out. So I think it's really important to, I don't know, I just want to add that color to this, but yeah, nothing else to add for me.
No,
No, I
for
mean,
sure.
you're right. Look how the stock ran. It ran like 200% early 2025.
Yeah. Oh, QuantumScape. Yeah, I mean, QuantumScape's
That was
people are actually caring about
Everything
batteries
seems a bit
finally
tight.
now.
that
Yeah.
Everything.
I forgot where I saw QuantumScape popping up. It was yesterday. It was popping up
US.
on one of like my scanners or something, but I didn't check the chart. It's freaking going
Well,
crazy.
so no, yesterday I called out 2 names to look out because I think yesterday's news story, people just like did not put too much weight to it. I didn't see too much, but like U.S. imposing 94% tariff on Chinese battery material. That's pretty disruptive, guys. It's
Yeah.
like 94% is a lie. So I was like, two stocks I think are going to benefit the most is EOS. We just called that out earlier. Second one's QuantumScape. And if you guys don't know about QuantumScape, you guys,
It's one of the first stocks I traded right here. This
yeah,
and
I mean,
BLK.
this was
I
so
think.
popular in 2021. I
Yeah.
think like it was really expensive back then, and anyway. Regardless, that's back then. Right now, I think if lithium gets more expensive, like it's going to in the post 94% tariff war, QuantumScape is going to essentially pull, like their timeline is going to pull forward the demand because something needs to change to offset that status quo of buying this lithium Chinese battery. So like they're going to catch a bit from that. I still believe EOSE is going to be the bigger beneficiary because of their zinc-based American-made product on trying to solve the grid scale issue. But QuantumScape is definitely a name that's been catching a bit, and it's expensive. Like, what is their market? Let me see QuantumScape's market cap now.
8 billion.
8 billion is tricky because guess how much money they're making? Not this year, next year. 5 million.
Yeah, I was about to say 5 billion. No, that's not. Oh, 5 million.
No,
Oh,
million,
okay.
million. Let's say end of this decade, how much are they going to be making? 500 million. So like I think it's going to be it's a very pricey stock, guys. Just think about that. It's run
Yeah.
up. It's justified to get a re-rate. Who knows how big the re-rate's going to be, but at 7 billion, it's a tricky pill to swallow.
It is a
What
tricky
this was one that Toyota started to put money in, though. Isn't that the vote of confidence people are
Yeah.
having? That right? If Toyota's backing you, then hopefully, because even for at this price, if Toyota likes them that much, they could probably buy them without thinking too much about it.
Well, nobody talks about Toyota being this hedge fund. Like they also got into Joby Aviation, really. So like Joby's been a name that's been catching some heat. Some he has. I did not know they're catching that much of a heat. Jeez.
Yeah,
That's
that was
that's a nutty one too.
breakout.
Crazy.
I don't know.
They're up to 15 billion. Yeah, but they've been on a tear recently. This guy. And it's
I'm
funny
here.
because
Sorry,
it's
guys,
only
I don't know
just
what's going
them.
on.
Like
I'm
I
in
was
San
looking at
Francisco on
these-
my.
Uh-oh.
Archer
Poor Lia.
hasn't been participating. None of these things have been kind of going with
Joby.
it, right? So
I like Archer more than Joby, but Joby is definitely an interesting name. So Archer's at 7 bill. That's what Joby's valuation is at. Again, guys, these are kind of like Joby's making $2 million this year. So
Joby's
Nice.
at 15 billion.
I own both of
cap.
them.
Mm.
Both.
this is I don't know. This is a great highlight. Like what our rallies experienced recently, it's just multiple expansion. That's what's a little dangerous. Like everything's just multiple expansion. Like it's not. I think they're pricing in liquidity coming back to the market and Fed cutting rates. I think they were front running that really aggressively. So if there's anything to buck that narrative, like watch out. But it's also, I am so scarred from 2021. Like I was not that hairy. My chest was not that hairy, guys, before 2021. Like, I gained this from
My beard
that
wasn't this
pullback.
gray either. before.
So like
I'm not even gonna show my hairline, all right?
you weren't born, Jordan, in 2021. No, I think maybe I'm like the PTSD is controlling my behavior a little too much. Maybe that's the case, but I just will never experience a 65% pullback ever again in my life. That was nasty, guys. Like
None of that.
very nasty.
Very nasty. None of that. Well, crew, it's been a fun morning. Shout out to the crew. We got a nice crew this morning. My man Shay came on, which Shy, this is a pleasure, man. I haven't seen you on the show in like, I don't know, months now, so it's nice to have you on, brother.
Yeah. Thanks for having me,
Always a good
guys.
time. Yeah, shout out to the crew.
Thank
If you're in the
you.
Stocktwits crew, make sure you guys are following the Stocktwits channel. Make sure you're following all the guys up here on the panel and Lia. And yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Hopefully everybody has a safe day trading. I'm keeping it chill. I really don't think I'm gonna trade today. I've had a great week. I'm not seeing anything that I really have clarity on. We're kind of just going sideways and got some volatility this morning. So I'm gonna keep it chill. And we'll see if I wrap the week up with any more gains or just leave it alone. But either way, always a great morning with everybody. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
And yeah, thanks Leah. Thanks Shy. Michael. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy.
Thanks.
See you
Bye.
guys.